Hello ladies and gents, welcome to a Runescape beginner's guide, well, old school Runescape beginner's guide. I have decided to make a new account and walk you guys through a fresh account in old school Runescape because recently a lot of new players have been getting into old school Runescape either from playing it from years ago and want to relive the memories, or they've just seen it on Twitch, or they've seen it being popular, or their friends have recommended it and they're coming to play it for the very first time. Either way, I've decided to make a guide for you guys that helps you basically kickstart your account, and so you have a sense of direction, because if you are a new player and you just get dropped into the world, it's a bit difficult and it's a bit confusing because you don't know what the fuck you need to do. So guys, I am going to be acting as if the people watching this video have never played RuneScape before, they don't know what's going on, at least old school RuneScape. They've never played old school RuneScape before, because I am going to be explaining a lot of the very basic of the basics, and if you're sort of an experienced player who's just returned, maybe this guide isn't for you. This is for the brand new players, or the players who just don't know what the hell this game is. One of the things I had when I first got into playing RuneScape was friends and family that also played this game, so I had like a very short learning curve. Within days I knew a lot about the game and I was able to make new accounts because I was young. I just made lots of accounts for some reason and have a sense of direction straight away. But if you don't know what you're doing, a good starting point is to actually talk to the Lumbridge guide. He is probably the least, the NPC that's the least interacted with in this game. No one talks to the Lumbridge guide, but if you speak to him, you can ask him, hey, what quest should I do? Where can I fight monsters? Where do I make weapons? How do I make weapons? Just a lot of general questions that maybe a new player need to find out. Now it is time to start your very first quest. It's quite an important quest in free to play because it gives you access to one of the best cooking spots in the game. Cooking being one of the skills that lets you make your own food so you can eat it and stay alive, because food regains your HP. And the quest starting point can be found in the Lumbridge castle. You start off in Lumbridge, just follow the path into the castles, pretty easy, and in the kitchen there can be a chef who is a little bit upset and you just need to help him out. Ask him what's wrong and he will say that he needs to make a cake, and so you will make a cake for him. He'll ask for ingredients, he'll ask for an egg, a pot of flour and a bucket of milk, and you just need to find these ingredients and bring them to him. You don't actually make the cake. I don't know why I said that, but that's all you need to do, and I will show you guys where to find these ingredients. If you came straight from the tutorial, you should have a bucket and a pot in your inventory already, but if you don't, you can pick up a pot off the table, and down below in the basement you can also pick up a bucket which is on one of the tables. Now just run out of the castle from the way that you came in to the east and then follow the path north. Just continue to follow this path until you come across a couple of fields. Continue to follow the path when it takes a turn east and run past the sheep, run past the cows, run past the goblins. None of the monsters in Lumbridge are aggressive. This is quite a safe zone and they're all low level, so you can train on them. But we are going to head to the wheat field. If you just keep continuing up the path to the east, you'll eventually find a gate, and wheat. People are going to make fun of the way I say that somehow, even though I think it's completely normal. Pick a grain from the field and then take it north into the windmill. There it is on the map there, just in case you don't realise it. Once again, there will be a world map linked in the description of this video alongside the quest guide, just so if you get lost following this video you can look at those resources and find out what you're doing. Climb up to the top of the windmill and then use the grain. You have to actually click on the... This is like a point and click adventure game mixed with MMORPG elements. At least that was the aim back in the day when this game was created. So you need to click on items and use it on other items. So click on the grain, use it on the hopper, use the hopper controls, which are the lever type things, and head back down to the bottom. You will see your flour in the basin and you just have to use your pot on the flour and then boom, you've got a pot of flour. Leave the windmill and right next to it there's a giant field of chickens. It's pretty much impossible to miss this. There's just a giant field of chickens, and in there you want to grab an egg. But before you grab an egg, this can be used as a decent training place for very low levels. You have level 1 in every combat stat. You have level 1 attack, you have level 1 strength, you have level 1 defense. Training on chickens is pretty decent, so I would recommend just training here, killing chickens until you have maybe like 5 attack, 5 strength. It's good just to train here and pick up items too, because chicken can be used as food to regenerate your HP once you've cooked it. That is, you don't want to eat raw chicken. They drop bones which you can bury for prayer XP, and then they have feathers which you can pick up that are used as bait for fly fishing. I recommend getting around 5 of each melee combat stat training at chickens. It takes a little while, it doesn't take too long, but it can be a little bit dull. And to train each one individually, you need to go to the tab with the 2 swords crossed and you need to change your attack style. So once, let's say you get 5 attack, you can change it to one that gives you strength XP, and once you've got 5 strength, change it to one that gives you defense XP. Sorry, that was my phone. And to change it, you just have to hover over the other types of attack style. It tells you which XP it gives you. and it right there it says aggressive, stab, strength XP, so obviously you want to click on that one to get strength XP, and below that one there's defense XP, so once you want defense XP and level your defense, you can do that too. And the higher your attack level is, the better tier of weapons you can use, and the higher your defense level is, the better tier of armor you can wear. Right now you only have a sword and a shield, the lowest tier of weapons and defense, but eventually you can upgrade that to better stuff, which is something I do later on in the guide. So I now have a full inventory. I've picked up chicken, I've buried the bones for prayer XP, and I have no space for the egg that I need to pick up, so I'm just going to drop a, I don't know, I'm going to equip the arrows. That's what I done. I equipped the arrows into the quiver, they went into your quiver slot. Now it's time to go pick up milk. I need a bucket of milk, and then we can hand in these ingredients and complete the quest. Although there's a cow field just east of the chickens, there isn't a dairy cow in there. You can't milk any of those cows. You could back in the day, but not anymore. There is now a designated dairy cow, which is located in a cow field to the east. You have to cross the river, just keep going east until you find a bridge, a wooden bridge. Cross that bridge, and a little to the northeast you'll find a brand new cow field. I don't know if I say that weird either, guys, please don't make fun of me. And as you enter the gate to the left, there should be a woman standing there with buckets of milk. You just have to use a bucket on the dairy cow right there, and boom, you've got a bucket of milk. And now it's time to return to the castle and give the cook your ingredients. Talk to the cook in the kitchen, he takes your ingredients, and you have completed your very first quest. Congratulations, you've completed Cook's Assistant, the easiest quest in the game, and it gives you 300 cooking XP, a single quest point, and you also have access to the cook's cooker right there, the range they're called in this game. The cook's range, which is one of the best in the game. It gives you a less chance of burning your food. Now we're going to cook the chicken that we picked up in the chicken pen as we were killing them. We need to cook it. Luckily after that quest we got 4 cooking, so we cook the majority of chicken now. However, you still do burn a few, and the reason we need food is because we need to get 10,000 coins, and to get 10,000 coins we need to run past monsters that attack you and do high damage, so you need to eat to regenerate your HP. Once you're done cooking everything in your inventory, head up the stairs just outside the kitchen door there. At the top of the castle there's a bank. It's a bit weird that there's a bank in the top of a castle, but it is very handy. You can deposit everything that's in your inventory inside the bank, and then we're going to head back out into the chicken fields, collect a full inventory of chickens while training up our combat stats, our melee stats, hoping to get a couple of levels so we can wear better equipment in the future. And then once we've got a full inventory of raw chicken, we're going to come back here and cook it all. I just got 5 attack fighting the chickens, and that means now I'm going to train strength. I'm going to switch it to strength here so I get 5 strength as well, or at least I hope to get 5 strength. I do finish my inventory of raw chicken before I get those levels, but you still get XP. Even if you don't get the levels, you still get XP towards levels, so you can get it faster in the future. Now we're just finishing up here. The raw chicken are almost all gone. We've burnt a couple of them, but as we continue to cook we gained a lot of cooking levels. I think we're right now almost 10 cooking. We should have 10 cooking after this last chicken, hopefully. No, we didn't get it, oh well, because we burnt it. So when you burn it you don't get XP. When you cook it successfully you get XP. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now we're 9 cooking, and now we have enough food to go get our first 10,000 coins. But first we're going to bank, deposit all of your burnt chicken and withdraw all the cooked chicken until you have none left. Hopefully you have a decent amount like I do right there. I have 3 free slots in my inventory, and that is more than enough chicken to survive fighting or running past these monsters. We're not actually going to fight anything right now. We're going to run past monsters to our 10,000 coins. So right now we're standing out back of the castle, and we need to run northwest into a village called Barbarian Village. To do that we just have to follow the map, which will be linked in the description below once again. The reason I have a map on my client here that I can click on in game is because I use a third-party software that is legal. It's not against the rules. That will also be in a link, although if you're a new player it's not really that important. You can just use the world map until you get used to the world and memorise where you need to go. So we're in the northwest right now. I'm just going to speed this clip up until we get to the village. So here we are in Barbarian Village. Below this village is something we like to call the Stronghold of Security. In this giant underground dungeon there are 4 floors, and each floor gives you a reward when you find the centre and speak to the item that's in the middle of the room. You get like a reward for finding the centre of the room basically on each floor. So I will be walking through each floor in this video. However, if you don't want to follow the video because it can be a little bit difficult and say the camera moves or you don't know which direction I'm facing even though there's a compass above the minimap, in the description below there will be maps to each floor so you can find your way to the centre yourself. So the doors in this Stronghold of Security ask you questions. These doors are alive apparently, and they ask you questions that involve keeping your account safe. It's account security, that's why it's called the Stronghold of Security. You get asked questions when you try and enter different rooms. They're really basic questions. It's like, who should I share my password with? No one. Where do you find cheats on RuneScape? Nowhere. What do you do when someone asks you for your password? Report them and don't tell them. Things like that. It's pretty obvious. You get a list of 3 answers. You get asked a question and you get 3 answers or 2 answers. Pick one of them. Pick the one that's most obvious. It's pretty easy, and it may teach you a thing or two if you've never played the game before. So now it is time to claim your reward from the chest in the centre of the room. But before you can actually get your reward, you need to do something. You need to set up 2-step authentication on your account. And now that initially may seem like a pain in the ass. Oh, you don't want, I can't be bothered setting up my authenticator. Guys, it is completely worth it. And not just for the 10k gold that you can get. If you really don't want to do it and you don't want to bother with an authenticator for whatever reason, you can set it up, go through the remaining floors and then disable it. But I strongly recommend that you set up the authenticator on your account, because this game, RuneScape, old school RuneScape, even though I'm trying to get you guys to play the game, this is a guide for brand new players, I'm not going to lie, this game is absolutely filled to the brim with assholes, scammers, and people that are going to try and break into your account because they make a living from stealing other players' gold, selling it for real life money. People make a living from that. That's people's jobs. So there's always going to be people that pay their rent using your money in game. So what you want to do is just set up an authentication on both your email and your RuneScape account. That should pretty much guarantee that you never get hacked. And if you want to be even more secure, a bank pin. You can get one of those by talking to an in-game banker, and you can set up a pin. You just punch in a 4-digit code each time you log in and first use the banking. It's a little bit of annoying just to do that every day or every time you log in, but in the end it's worth it. If you get hacked, all your valuables in the bank, and the people hacking you don't know the code unless they just manage to guess it somehow, or unless it's your date of birth, which is, you know, obvious. So to set up an authenticator before you can get your 10k cash reward from the dungeon, the Stronghold of Security, you need to go to runescape.com, click on account at the top of the page at the corner, and then put in your email and password. That's not a hack, I'm not trying to get your password, I'm just saying that's what you need to do. And then find authentication or account security or something like that. You should be able to find it, and then it only takes about 5 minutes to set up. It's pretty easy, and if you don't have a smartphone, you can do it on your desktop as well, or your laptop. There's an option for that too. That's what I done before I got my phone that I'm using now, which is kind of shit, but it does the job. So after you've done that, it's time to log in. You can set it so you don't have to put in a PIN every single time. You don't have to use the app for authentication every time. You just click on the box that says use it every 30 days. And so if you try and get on RuneScape on a computer, or if someone else tries to get on RuneScape into your RuneScape on a different computer, it won't work. You'll need to put in a code, so they'll need your authentication, which is why it's a good security thing. Now it's time to claim our reward. We click on the chest, we go through the dialogue, and boom, we have 2,000 coins right there. We go down into the next dungeon, that gives us 3,000 coins. The one before that, or the one below that, sorry, that gives us 5,000, so we have 10,000 in total. And then the final dungeon gives us the best set of boots that you can get and free to play. So now we're on the second floor. This is where it gets dangerous. This is when you need to watch your HP, which is on the side of the minimap there, and when you get attacked there's a green bar above your head that also indicates your HP, and if your character has a red splatter around them, it has a number, that's how much damage you've taken, which you should already know by now, hopefully. If you take any type of damage right now, you should eat chicken, because you only have 10 HP, and the further you go into this Stronghold of Security, the more damage you will take, because the level of monsters increases. So you just need to make sure you always eat your food. As you may notice when watching this video, you don't get asked questions indoors where there's monsters that can attack you. You only get asked questions, the doors only ask you questions when you're safe, so you don't have to worry about answering questions while you're being attacked. That's not going to happen. And if you die during this, if you unfortunately get killed while trying to get this 10,000 coins, don't worry. Even if you die with, say, 5,000 coins in your bag and you're full inventory of food, just don't worry, your items won't despawn at any time soon. You'll end up back in Lumbridge. As soon as you respawn, find the melee combat instructor in Lumbridge. He is located near the general store and the Lumbridge guide outside the castle. He will give you a sword and a shield. Go kill chickens, cook the food, and then come back here with a full inventory, or somewhat of a full inventory of cooked chicken, and come through and find your items again and try and complete the dungeon. So now you have your 10,000 coins, and you can either call it quits here and leave with the money. You just use the rope located in the same room and go back up to the surface. And if you decide to continue, you go down the ladders, there's monsters instantly, but don't worry, those ones aren't aggressive. However, the next ones in the next room are aggressive and will attack you, but as soon as you go down the ladder, those ones won't attack you, so don't worry about that. And then the final floor, the monsters can hit extremely high damage. They could maybe even hit you once and you will die, so just be extremely careful. Make sure you have full HP, make sure you run. One thing I forgot to mention previously is that when you're opening the doors into rooms with monsters in them, indicated by the yellow dots on the minimap, put your run energy on. It can be located right by the minimap. You just click on the boot icon and your character will run. And then once you're not fighting monsters, once you're not in a room with monsters, turn it off and save it for the next room with monsters in it. And now you have made it to the very end. You have successfully completed the Stronghold of Security, and now in the last room you get asked which kind of boots you want. These are the best boots in the game for free to play, and you can pick between fighting looking boots and rainbow looking boots. We didn't want to be boring, we're not boring people. We get the cool looking, well I say cool looking, we get the, I don't know, the prideful looking rainbow boots. They both have the exact same stats. Just click on a rope to get back to the surface, boom. You've got 10,000 coins, you've got a great set of boots, and now it is time to spend the cash. So having money in this game is extremely important. Even if you don't trade that much, having money is just such a big deal. Everything costs money in this game. You want better armor, costs money unless you want to grind for hours. You want more equipment, better equipment, costs money unless you want to grind for hours. You know, you just need money in this game for pretty much everything, and so that's why getting 10,000 coins to start off your account is extremely important, and that's why it's in this guide. So now I'm going to show you guys basically a huge part of the economy. It's something called the Grand Exchange, and it's basically the auction house of the RPG. And almost every other MMO there's an auction house where players can trade each other without actually interacting. This is the Grand Exchange, and to get there you need to head northeast. It's in a town or a city called Varrock, which is basically the main hub in free to play, and it's just northeast of the Barbarian Village. Just follow the path east across the river and just follow the path until you're in the city, and in the north city to the west of the castle in Varrock there is the Grand Exchange. It's very easy to use, but if you want to learn it, talk to the dude in the beret right there that I just walked past on the screen right now. He teaches you how to use it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Just right click exchange on one of the clerks, and then you either click buy or sell. If you want to sell items, you click sell. Want to buy items, click on buy obviously, and then type in items you want to buy, or click on items in your inventory that you want to sell. That's how it works. So I was initially going to spend the money on a bunch of fishing supplies, but then realised there's shops in the game that sell fishing supplies. There's a lot of shops. You don't just buy items out of the Grand Exchange. You can buy armour, or some armour, you can buy some tools, you can buy some equipment out of the shops, but a lot of stuff is actually dropped from monsters and stuff like that, and that's why the Grand Exchange exists and why it's a huge part of the economy. So players were selling the fishing bait that I was going to use. It's too high, they're selling it for too much, so we're going to go check out the store, the actual fishing store located in a port nearby. We're going to go check that out, but before we do that, I'm actually going to buy armour and just show you guys how to buy armour. Armour is used for obviously training and fighting monsters and stuff, so you take less damage, and we're also going to buy a weapon and a shield. So I just typed in iron set right now. It gives you a iron helmet, iron plate body, iron plate legs and iron kite shield, and that's the best armour that I can use at level 1 defense. As you can see, bronze and iron are both there. Iron is better than bronze, and at 5 defense we can wear steel, but don't have to worry about that right now. Once I've bought the set, you right click on the clerk on sets, and then you click on the box in your inventory, and it unpacks it for you, and boom, I have a full set of armour, looking badass. Now I just need a better sword. So we're going to go back into the Grand Exchange, type in iron skimmer. Now, you can type in iron sword, but the best weapon in free to play is the skimmer, the best melee weapon that is. You can buy long swords, short swords, you can buy maces, they're all crap. Just buy the skimmer. I don't know why it's the best, it just is the best. It has the best stats, it's best for doing damage and stuff like that, and it's faster. So yeah, iron skimmer. Now we look badass. We've got a full set of iron armour, an iron weapon, rainbow boots, looking cool. So now we have money, we have raw chicken and we have a full set of armour, you'd be thinking, okay, it's time to start fighting and training upper stats and killing monsters. Well, not really. In order to kill monsters, you need good food that can sustain your HP. Chicken just isn't going to cut it as you get higher level. Now, you could go train, and that's totally up to you. This game is a giant sandbox. You can do whatever you want. This is my guidelines, however. As a beginner, I'm going to teach you how to get your own food so you don't have to keep buying it and wasting your money on buying it. Obviously, if you eventually have enough gold, you can start buying your own food, but I highly recommend fishing, and to do fishing you need to head back to Lumbridge using the home teleport spell, and your magic book has no requirements. You can use it to get back here at any time. Get your small fishing net out of the bank, which you should have because you started the game with one, and then head to Stronghold Village, which is to the west of Lumbridge. Now we are at the shore of Draenor. Next to the willow trees there is a bunch of fishing spots, and here you can just easily train your fishing, catching shrimp. Shrimp are the only thing you want to fish until level 5 fishing. They don't really heal much food, but they do start you off. They do get you a little bit of cooking XP, a little bit of fishing XP. Once you've caught them, put them in the bank, and once you have a great number of them, you can start cooking them and then deposit them, or you can just drop them. Either way, it's up to you. They're kind of useless, they don't heal much food. They're no better than chickens, I imagine. I forgot to mention, I don't know if I should mention this, but the basic of the basics. Fishing spots are the sparkling water that indicates that there's fish swimming in this spot here. You right click on that and either click net or bait. If you have a net and you're net fishing, which is catching shrimp, you hit net. If you have a fishing rod and bait, which we will be doing in the near future, you click on bait fishing. To the north of the fishing spots there's a bank where you can deposit all the fish. You don't have to drop them all the time, you can stick them in there so you don't have to spend time dropping them because it takes a long time. In between the bank and the fishing spots are wizards, and they can kill you, as seen by this clip right here, which is a little bit unfortunate. But guys, don't worry, when you die you drop everything but your 3 best items and they remain with you. However, in this day and age in this game, your items don't appear to other players for a very long time. You have more than enough time to run back to the spot that you died and picking up your items, so don't worry if you get killed. So I am running back to the spot where I died, avoiding the guards next to Draenor Village. There's jail guards which are actually a pretty high level, and outside the bank where I just died there's my iron full helmet and my shrimp. We're just going to pick them all up because no one else can see them, no one else has touched it. This is all our stuff, so yeah, like I said, don't worry. And also when you're fighting the wizards or trying to resist getting attacked by the wizards, don't wear your armour. I made that mistake in this clip. I wore my armour. Magic beats melee armour, does more damage to melee armour. It's like rock, paper, scissors. There's a triangle of what wins. Melee beats range because you have metal armour and the arrows can't pierce the armour. Magic beats melee and range beats magic, so that's how it works. And there is 5 fishing. Now before you get 5 fishing, you're going to get attacked with the wizard. When the wizard does attack you, just run away and run back and try and use the furthest away spot, the spot to the furthest south. That is the safest spot and the wizards won't attack you there, but to the northern spot a little bit, there's a couple of squares to the north, the wizards will attack you. So when they do, just run off and come back once they've stopped chasing you. It's a bit annoying, but you only need 5 levels and it takes no time at all to get 5 levels. Also bring some food out, if you have cooked chicken left, bring it out just in case you do get attacked and take some damage. So now that you have 5 fishing, go to the bank, take out your money and head to Port Sarum to the west of Draenor. In there you will find a fishing shop. On this map it's on the west side of the port, so we're just going to head there right now. Once again guys, the world map will be in the description below and you can just watch me run there and copy the direction that I take. From the bank you just head west, follow the wall up until you find a gap, then continue heading sort of southwestish direction until you come across the fishing shop. You might have noticed this guy here just appeared out of nowhere and started following me and asking me questions and stuff. They are what we call random events. They just pop up, you can just dismiss them. They're not going to attack you, they're not going to harm you, although they used to. And if you talk to them and say you agree to help them, they usually give you some sort of small mini game to complete and you get a reward for it. So if you're a new account, a new player, it's probably worth doing because you get a reward and it's a new experience. Once you get to the fishing shop, trade the dude, the shopkeeper, and buy a bait pack or 2. I bought 2 of them. They're 300 coins each. You have enough money to buy 2 packs. That's 100 bait per pack. Buy a fishing rod. The regular fishing rod works with the bait and the fly fishing rod works with feathers for lure fishing, which is something we're going to do later, and that's why we're buying this stuff now. It's better to buy packs because you get 100 feathers or 100 bait per pack instead of clicking randomly or clicking excessively on the separate items on the shop, unless you want less than 100. But as you can see, I have 200 fishing bait, 350 feathers. That's enough for what we want to do, and that is continue fishing. Now it sounds a bit dull, you probably want to go and explore. You can, once again, like I said, this is a game where you can do anything you want. You don't have to do what I'm doing. This is just my sort of guideline. This is my guide to new accounts, new players. This is a good way to go if you're patient enough to complete the fishing that I'm going to show you guys. So now you want to head back to Draenor Village to continue fishing. Deposit everything in the nearby bank and bring out the fishing rod and the bait alongside some food to avoid getting killed off the dark wizards. Head back to the fishing spots and right click and click on bait, because now you're going to be catching sardines, and once you hit level 10 you're going to be catching herrings, and these are food that heal a little bit more than shrimp, they'll heal a little bit more than chicken, and they give more fishing XP, and once you cook them, more cooking XP. And now we're going to continue fishing until we hit level 20 fishing, and in this clip here we should hit that level. And the reason for that is because at level 20 fishing you can begin lure fishing, and that means you can use your fly fishing rod with the feathers in a completely different fishing spot located at the Barbarian Village, where you can catch trout and salmon. Before we continue fishing and move into a different location to catch better fish, we're actually going to cook everything we have right now. So we went back to Lumbridge using the range that we unlocked at the start of this guide, doing Cook's Assistant. And I can't stress this enough, guys. I know I've said it previously a bunch of times, but this is not something you need to do. You can skip a part of this guide, because later on in the guide, the last thing we're going to do in this guide is complete a quest called Vampire Slayer, and for that quest you have to fight a level 30 or so monster, and we're going to do that at a very low level with good food, and that's why we're fishing, just so I can show you guys how to get good food without buying it. However, if you want to skip the whole fishing process because it can be a little bit dull, you can just use the gold that you got from the Stronghold of Security to buy cooked salmon, and then continue or skip the part of the guide where I'm just fishing all the time and cooking. So I've just finished cooking everything that we had in the bank, all the raw fish, the shrimp, the sardines and the herrings, and with that we got level 23 cooking, and at the 23 cooking we are able to cook trout. So now we're going to head back to the Barbarian Village where the Stronghold of Security was located and check out the two fishing spots. On the map there you can see they're located next to the two fishing icons. So here we are at Barbarian Village once again. To get here it's just north of Draenor, and there will be the map in the description, obviously, as I've stated a bunch of times. Now here there is a good this is a very good fishing spot. There's a permanent fire lit next to the fishing spots, and you can cook your fish so you don't have to go all the way back to Lumbridge. And to the north there is a bank. It's relatively close by, it's just a short run away. And one thing people do here is drop fish. People drop trout and salmon, raw trout and salmon all the time, but the chances are if you come here you're going to find raw trout and salmon lying on the floor. So if you don't want to fish but you still want to get cooking XP so you can cook your own stuff in the future, you can pick up the raw stuff and use them on the fire. So at 23 cooking, sorry, that's what I have right now from cooking everything we got previously, I can only cook the trout. So I'm going to pick up all the trout and try to get 25 cooking right here, because at 25 cooking we can then cook salmon, which heals more than trout, and we need high healing food for the boss we're about to fight in the next part of the guide, which is Vampire Slayer. We're going to kill Count Draenor because he's a vampire that we need to defeat, and this here should be 25 cooking. There we go. We can now cook salmon. I keep trying to say trout. We can now cook salmon at 25, and with that we can either fish it again, we can fish our own fish, cook the raw fish and then go bank it, or we can just pick it up. It's entirely up to you. Do you want fishing XP? Do you want fishing levels? If yes, fish your own fish. If not, just pick it up off the floor. That's if people are dropping it. Sometimes people don't drop it and you may have to be forced to fish your own or go buy it. But like I said before, if you're a new account, if you're a new player, doing things your own way is probably better for you than going to buy everything straight off the bat. And the bank is located to the north. Just run north and you'll have to run around some ruins until you see this bank here, and it's perfectly safe. There's no monsters that are going to kill you on the way, and we're going to do this until we have around 100 cooked salmon. And the reason for that is because not only do we need it for the quest, we also need it for training. Food is pretty much important forever in this game. You always need food to do things, to explore just in case you get attacked, to do quests because you're going to have to fight bosses sometimes, and to train because you're going to have to fight monsters. Food is critically important, and that's why a large portion of this guide is revolved around fishing. And now I have successfully gained 100 cooked salmon. I've done that by fishing it, cooking it on the fire, then banking it. That's all it takes, or you can pick it up and cook it and bank it, whatever you decide to do. So now you have food, now you have money, and you have armour. You're pretty much all set to go. You can now go fight monsters, train your stats, you can now go complete quests, and one of the quests we're going to do is Vampire Slayer. I've mentioned it before, and it is a quest that gives us a lot of attack experience as a reward, and the quest is pretty simple, although the boss you can fight, or the boss you will fight, can be pretty difficult. We're not going to use our armour and our weapon to complete this quest, to fight the boss in the quest, we're actually going to use magic. Magic is a pretty powerful attack method, a pretty powerful combat method, so we're going to go train it, and I'm going to show you guys where to buy runes. Head south back to Barbarian Village, and then from there head east to Varrock, where you first found the Grand Exchange, because that is the city of Varrock where there's a bunch of shops where you can buy runes. You can buy runes out of the Grand Exchange yourself with other players, but it's worth exploring the city and exploring the shops and stuff like that. We're going to head to a staff shop and buy a fire staff, then we're going to head to the Rune Shop and buy some runes. Just keep following the path into Varrock Centre, where you find a fountain and little walkways across it, and to the northwest of the Varrock Centre there is Zaf's shop, a staff shop. You just give him a trade and buy the fire staff with your coins in your inventory. It costs maybe like 1,500 coins for a fire staff, but it is worth it. A staff of an element staff basically gives you unlimited runes in that element, and you can only wear one at a time obviously, so we're going to buy the fire staff and have that equipped, just so we have permanent fire runes so we don't have to buy them. Now we're going to head to the Rune Shop to the southeastern side of town. Now in the sort of slums of the city there's sometimes thugs, so maybe bring in a chicken or two, maybe beneficial, but you shouldn't really die. If you get attacked, just run away. The Rune Shop on your minimap is indicated by a little sort of fireball. It looks like a little fireball out of Super Mario. That's what the icon is for the Rune Shop, so just look for that in the city and you should be able to find it. Like I said, it's in the southeastern side of town, and there's a world map in the description. I want to just let you guys know that all the time for whatever reason, and I just realised this guide is over 30 minutes long, holy shit. Aubrey, or something like that, is the name of the dude that you need to trade to buy runes. Now you want to buy air runes and mind runes. Air runes because they're used in almost every elemental spell that does damage, and mind runes because they're the low level rune that lets you use the low level magic strikes. So what we're going to do is buy 300 air runes and 300 mind runes, and you can do that by buying the packs similar to that you did with fishing. You can just buy a pack, and in each pack there's 100 runes, so buy 3 air packs and 3 mind packs, and in your bank there should already be some runes. There should be 25 air runes and 15 mind runes, because that's what you start the game with. And now we're going to head back to Lumbridge using the home teleport spell that I showed you before. It's just in the magic book, it's the very first spell, and it teleports you back to Lumbridge. And we're coming back here because this is a very low level training area. All the monsters are level 2 and they don't really damage you, so you don't need food. And to make sure that we don't take any damage, we're actually going to airstrike ducks. So to do spells without having to click each time in the magic spellbook, click on the double swords in one of the tabs next to your inventory. It's the one on the far left, the 2 cross swords, and in that you should see the options to set spells. There's one with a shield and a staff that you don't want to click on because that gives you defense experience, and right now we just want a lot of magic experience. So click on the one below that and set your spell to airstrike, because that's the only thing we can cast right now with level 1 magic. We need to train magic using airstrike until level 13, and at level 13 we can use fire strike, and with fire strike we're going to complete Vampire Slayer the quest. Now one thing I forgot to mention is that you can actually claim free runes by talking to the magic trainer. She doesn't give you runes if you already have some in your inventory, so what we're going to do is something a little bit cheeky. We're going to drop them on the floor. Don't worry, no one can see them until like 5 minutes later, so we're going to drop these on the floor, talk to the magic instructor, hit claim, and we get free runes. We get 30 of each rune, and you can only do that every 30 minutes. We moved on to attacking goblins, and they can't attack you over the fence, so we just use defences to our advantage, and we got 13 magic doing this with 90 or so runes left. Now it is time to start Vampire Slayer and then complete it. Click on the quest tab and scroll down until you see Vampire Slayer. Once you do that, these things can be used as a sort of brief guide. Now, the internet has a lot of guides for quests, predominantly the 2007 Scape wiki. That is where you go if you want quests, or you can watch videos and stuff. There's a bunch of quest guides all over the internet on YouTube and on separate websites and stuff like that. And we can now use Fire Strike. We're going to use Fire Strike to fight the quest, the boss, and we're going to go start the quest in Draenor. Draenor is the place where we first started fishing the shrimp and the sardines and stuff. In one of the houses to the north, there's a dude called Morgan just chilling out, and what you want to do is talk to him and tell him that you're going to help him and go through all the dialogue until you've started the quest. And you can tell that you've started a quest when you click on the quest tab, scroll down, and the text for Vampire Slayer is highlighted in yellow. That means you have started this quest. And you can click on it to see the next step, or you can watch or read a real guide that gives you a lot more detailed information. And also, before we move on, go up the stairs in this house and search the cupboard for garlic. You need garlic to fight the vampire. Here is the quest guide on the wiki. This link will be in the description, much like everything else and links to everything else. This guide is a lot more detailed, and they are typically for every quest. You can use the game and you can read the dialogue and read the little things you get when you click on the quest. They're not filled with information. The game sort of wants you to learn it yourself, but if you don't want that challenge, if you don't want to get frustrated because you don't know how to solve this puzzle or something, you can just check out quest guides, and a link to the vampire quest guide will be in the description like I said. Although this quest isn't difficult, you just need to talk to a dude and then come back. So I won't be walking you through the vampire quest until we get to the boss, because it is a very easy quest, and this guide is already long enough. I don't want to make it too long so people just stop watching it entirely and don't finish it. We're going to head to the Rune Shop because we need more runes to fight this vampire. Fire Strike uses up 2 air runes and 1 Domain rune per strike, so in Port Saran there's a Rune Shop, as you could see on the minimap before, and we're going to buy the correct amount of runes for this, because I don't know how much runes we will need to fight the boss or how much is required, but we're just going to make sure that we have enough, so we're going to buy 100 or so more air runes. So now we have enough runes for exactly 100 Fire Strike casts, 200 air runes, and it's 2 per cast. We've got 100 main runes, 1 rune per cast, and we have unlimited fire runes with the fire staff. Now it's time to continue with the quest, and another reason that I'm not going to show you guys how to complete this quest is because learn by doing. You know, everything in this game is awesome, and you should experience some things on your own without being walked through, and this is just a little bit of a taste. You just need to talk to a dude, it's not difficult. And now we're going to head to fight the vampire boss named Count Draenor. He is located in the Draenor mansion to the north of Draenor Village, and he is down in the basement to the stairs you see on my right. There is stairs that go down into the dark. We're going to head down there. This place is pretty safe, nothing will attack you. Cheers and stuff follow you around and it tries to spook you out a little bit, but don't let it get to you. It's a pretty safe place, and until you get down to the basement and fight the Draenor. So just make sure guys, make sure that you have Fire Strike selected as your spell. Once again, go to the Cross Swords tab and make sure Fire Strike is selected as your auto cast spell. And you don't want to wear armour. Wearing armour that isn't magic robes decreases your attack ability with magic. Don't ask why, that's just how it is. You need to wear nothing unless you have magic robes, and make sure while you're doing the quest you have a hammer and a stake. You should have had the stake while doing the quest by going to Varrock, and you should have got the hammer by going to the bank and withdrawing one or buying one out of the general store in Varrock. And there is Count Draenor. He is level 34 and we are level 9, and we're going to Fire Strike his ass out of the universe, and we're going to make sure we eat food because he does a lot of damage, and you just want to make sure you don't die. If you go below like 6 HP, eat food, eat salmon. Make sure you withdraw salmon too, don't forget your food. And the reason we trained up magic to fight this guy is because if you go on the wiki, on the quest guide, and click on Count Draenor the boss and check out his Wikipedia page, it says in the side that he is actually weak to magic. So that's how a level 9, we are a level 9 fighting a level 34, and we're winning right now. Although just make sure you eat food guys, that's pretty important. As a new player you may just forget and sort of lose track, I don't know, just make sure you don't die, and you should be able to fight him with over 100 fire strikes, with over 100 fire strikes. It's an easy win guys, and it's easy XP once you've completed the quest. With your hammer, garlic and steak in your inventory alongside your ruins and food, it should be a relatively easy win. Just make sure you keep your HP high, and once he's low HP or once you've defeated him, you will drive the stake into him and kill him. If you forget the stake, he will just regenerate and kill you until you run out of food and run away. And there is 3 quest points and almost 5,000 attack experience. Now that gives us what, 21 attack. We went from 5 attack to 21 attack. That is insane. That is extremely fast for a small quest. Guys, that is fantastic. And you just look at that account, we're level 9, or over level 9 now, we're level combat 10, and we have all these stats guys. It's only been, what, 40 minutes in the guide, or almost 40 minutes, that's actually extremely long, and we've already made such good progress on a brand new account, and hopefully you guys who are new players have learned a bunch of things. Now you can't go through the main door in the Draenor Manor, you have to go through the side door, as you just seen me do, and then run out of the fucking manor, because sometimes the trees attack you, and it can be a little bit scary. So the quest rewarded us with a bunch of attack experience, and we have 21 attack. That means we can now wear mithril swords and mithril weapons, and we're going to go buy a mithril scimitar out of the Grand Exchange. Grand Exchange, once again located to the northeast of the Draenor Manor. We're going to run up to the Barbarian Village and then run east. We've been to the sort of same 4 locations: Lumbridge, Draenor, Barbarian Village and Varrock in free to play in this guide. There's more places, there's like a dwarven mine, there's another city, there's a goblin village and stuff like that for you to explore, and more quests in those areas for you to explore, but for now guys, that has been this guide. With the remainder of our cash that we had left, I bought a mithril scimitar and a strength amulet. Mithril Scimitar is a good weapon. It lets you hit more and higher, and the Strength Amulet lets you hit higher again. It just buffs your little stats a little bit because it is a Strength Amulet. It is enchanted and gives you bonus stats. Now we're just going to go train. Well, I'm not going to do it in this video, but now if you followed this guide to a T, you should have the same stats as me. You should have a Mithril Scimitar, you should have gold, you should have armour. You should be pretty much equipped to go and tackle the rest of this game on your own. Well, I'll say on your own, you can just use the wiki and find out everything. But this game is great, and now you're ready to go and explore it and do quests. There's deserts, there's towns, there's quests, there's a lot of things to do. You can go train mining, train woodcutting, train, I don't know, whatever it is you want to do. And if you become a member, there's like 10 things more things to do. If you're new to playing old school RuneScape, or you've returned after a very long time, I really hope this guide has helped you. It's taken a very long time to make this video. It's a 40-minute long guide, Jesus, and it's taken a long time to edit. It's taken a long time to get audio clips and put them in a video. So if you did enjoy this guide, or if you found this guide helpful in any way, I would really appreciate it if you guys left a rating and a comment, because it helps other people that are new to the game find this guide as well. And because this guide is so long, it does leave more room for error, so if I did get any information wrong, or I flubbed a couple of words, it's something I do quite frequently, I apologise. Nothing's perfect, and this guide probably isn't too perfect. However, I'm pretty sure it does help brand new players get acquainted with the game, get some gold, get some quests done, get some armour, get some gear. Everything's great, and if you wanted something to aim for after this guide, you're there's so much to do that you don't know what to do is a problem a lot of people experience. I would advise you to train up your strength and defense up to the same level as your attack. It's quite important to keep those around the same level, unless for whatever reason you want to have one a lot higher than another, but there's not much reason to do that unless you're going for a pure akin, which is something for PvPers, but it's not really that important right now if you're a brand new player. So yeah, it's a pretty good idea to have all your melee combat stats around the same level, so I would do that. And one of the best goals to go for in free to play is to complete the quest at Dragon Slayer. If you want something to do, if you're looking for an objective, Google or use the wiki to find Dragon Slayer, check out all of the requirements. You need 32 quest points or so you need to do a lot of quests, and so that wanting to do Dragon Slayer will make you do a lot of quests, and doing those quests will give you experience, and you want to train your stats, and there's a lot of things to do, guys, and quests give you rewards as well, gold rewards, XP rewards. It's pretty cool, so that's what I recommend. And I make videos that aren't just long ass beginners guides. I've made over 100, I think about 150 RuneScape videos in total now. Some of them are just dumb things that I do in the game and I talk over it, or try and make it funny, or I do progress videos of my account, or I make guides. I just do a bunch of videos that some people like, so hopefully you like them. And if you like this one, or you found this one helpful, I would advise you to, or I would hope you would subscribe. That would be cool. And yeah, that's it for this guide, guys. If you have any questions, I really do want to help the new players of this game. I want the game to grow, so if you have any questions at all about the game, leave them in the comments and I will answer them, or you can join the clan chat Dicers. Go to the little two faces in the bottom corner tab in your inventory stuff, click on join chat and type in Dicers with a Z, just the name of this YouTube channel, and you will join a clan chat with a bunch of other people, and they hopefully will help you too. Thank you very much for watching this extremely long guide if you made it this far, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time.